Sorry about that. That's just my wife calling me to ask me how it was. And I said I'll tell her all about it when she gets home. Okay, so this video might be useful for anyone's wondering what it's like as a supply teacher on your first day. Um, Not sure if it'll be reassuring. I'm not sure if it'll be as reassuring as hopefully some of my later videos that go over how I overcame some various things that I ran into on my first day and a few other things like that. So, yeah, I signed up with a few tutoring agencies and I didn't hear anything for a while. And then eventually, a tutoring agency from Birmingham, which is it's about a 40-minute drive from where I live, um, called me up and said they had a job for me. Usually, I wouldn't go that far. It's just not worth it in terms of pay and travel and time and stuff like this. I don't think at this point, anyway, unless you really need the money. Um, but I took it. I thought, look, I want to have a go at this. I've not done it yet. I've been waiting. I want a chance to show this company what I'm capable of, and so on. I have a teaching background of 8 years, and I've been a successful teacher in a nice, small private school. uh, and where I was going to was it was a bigger state academy school, much bigger than the classes I'm used to. I used to have classes of anywhere from between 2 and, well, it didn't usually get much bigger than 10, to be honest with you, even though I ran a few assemblies and things. But it was just a nice school. I knew it well. That's what I was used to. Here I was going right into the middle of a school I knew nothing about. I'd asked for maybe lesson plans and stuff, and got nothing. So I went there and travelled over there and so on like this. I was just determined to just give this a go and see what it was like. It's all in the middle of the pandemic blow up, the COVID-19 blow up, and so everyone had to wear face masks, and there's all these procedures and stuff, which I was expecting. It's fine. But anyway, I arrived super early, which was a mistake because I ended up just sitting around for ages, for a long time. Unfortunately, that is time I could have used to look over the lesson plans and this type of thing. And then eventually got met up by the appropriate person who then took me to the classroom, and then I was basically shuttled about a little bit back and forth and got given a huge pile of stuff randomly type thing, like yesterday's lesson plan, today's lesson plan, all these sort of bits of paper and this type of thing. And by the time and shown to the classroom, and by the time I'd actually got that stuff and started to get a chance to look over it, there was almost no time left before the lesson itself. That's not quite used to how I'm used to operating. I'm like, so literally I had to think fast about what the hell is this lesson all about and what am I supposed to be doing, this type of thing. And it also didn't help because it's not like they were at the start of that particular lesson plan. They were all that was known is that they were somewhere amongst one of either yesterday's or today's lesson plans. So I was like, okay. So I thought, well, I'll just, what can you do? You just try your best. I had today. I thought it was 3 year 7 classes. Actually, it was tutor time. Got that as a bonus, and then 2 classes after that, and that was year 7, and after that was the year 9 classes. So, to cut a long story short, the year 7 classes went extremely well because despite the fact that I had these lesson plans, it was like, come on, there's just no time to sort of organise this stuff that I can't. If I'm being expected to sort of go through this lesson plan with all the bits and pieces to it, whatever. So I just looked at what I could do on it. Had to establish where they were at on it, and then just sort of use that as more of a starting point. And as we got stuff done on it, then started to just fall back on my own abilities as an English teacher and just kind of went off the lesson plan and just used what we'd done to do what I knew how to do in terms of teaching of English. Because otherwise I would have spent all my time just faffing around trying to get this and that, and we would have got nothing done. And I have to say, it worked. It really did work. Those lessons went really well, and one thing that really highlighted this is that in the second one there was a teaching assistant who was working with a girl in there and this type of thing, and she was just after a while she was just working with her, kind of let me do my thing, and after a while she said, because things were going better and better and better type thing, because I'm a teacher, and I was getting to the point where the kids would come to the class and they were clapping at the kids who came to the front, and they were they were doing things they hadn't done before in terms of giving out, reading aloud these pieces that they had to write and this type of thing, and the atmosphere was just getting better and better and better. I mean, it was quite nice anyway, but it took some work to get it to that point. And after a while, the lady said, can I have her do this? Because this would be really good for her confidence. The special needs, I assume, girl she was working with, and she read out loud and everyone clapped and this type of thing. And it was more like the atmosphere of my old school type thing. And I was like, hey, it's a success. And afterwards, she said, that was so good, like, well done. I just want to say, like, blah 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 type thing. I was like, great. I thought so. I was thinking, you know what, I can do this. This is not so bad type thing. But as foreshadowing, as a device for an English teacher and so forth, there was a foreshadowing comment made prior to me starting the whole thing, where they said, and then you'll have these year 9 class, and there's been a bit of trouble with them, and you'll be fine type thing. I was like, okay, hopefully that's just not much, and I would be right. Okay, so so having gotten some real success and some production and some real wins and some kids really responding and doing great and this type of thing, and really getting to know me quite fast and liking me and stuff like this in a very short, condensed period of time. Then the year 9s came in, and my God. I mean, they had the school had, I won't go into detail, but they had a certain seating plan system and this and that. I did my best, and a way of them collecting their books and this type of thing that they knew how to do. I didn't, and did my. But of course, you ask them how they do it, and it's an opportunity for. There's some really helpful ones that show you, and some other ones that you use as an opportunity. So anyway, we kind of muddled through that, and it was sort of all right. But when year 9 came in, oh my God. Oh my God. Then it went horribly wrong. Not necessarily, I have to say, because of what I did wrong. This is important, I have to say. After these 2 year 9 classes, or whatever, or during it, I thought, what the hell? What the hell is happening here? What's going on? Because I'm used to being successful as a teacher, and to give you an idea what it like, I could not get past the point of saying what my name was. That's the very first thing to say. Like, hello, my name is Mr. Hutt. But the way I operate is I don't tend to say stuff until people have settled down. And they got in the class and they were not settling down. And I was like, okay, encouraging them, doing various devices to try to, and they just were not settling down type thing, not settling down. And when it reached a certain level, I thought, okay, we need to get something done here type thing. So I'll try and move forward despite having to talk over a few people, which, to be honest, is a mistake. It doesn't, in my view, does not work type thing. When I'm talking, my voice, my throat, I almost lost my voice, I tell you. Basically, there was just complete non-compliance. I say complete. Some people clearly did want to comply, and there was a strong element in the class, more than just one or two. A strong, I would say, it felt like 50%, who were just there to just have a wild time. I was like, what is going on here? I could not get them under control. I tried to, I geared myself up through watching a series of behaviour management videos by Rob Plempkin, which were really good in theory. They didn't quite address this situation or something. I did try and use his tools, and I think the guy's fantastic. But this situation was a bit above or beyond what he had described. Anyway, it got to the point I couldn't get anywhere, and I really couldn't. I thought, this is a complete waste of time. And I got the teacher, I had to go and get another teacher, and this sort of big woman with a really loud voice and this type of thing came in. It was exactly what I needed. Like, good, give me someone that can just do that, and then I'll run the lesson type thing. But it's not quite how it works. and I'm not really a very strict teacher, which is maybe the problem. It's just not my approach. So maybe that's where I'm going to have a learning curve or something. Um, but anyway, but that wasn't the problem, because I sort of got a little bit to the problem, because when she had to do that twice. She had to do that for the first year 9 class and the second year 9 class. And I thought, oh god, these guys are going to think I'm a complete joke. Actually, later on, someone came up and said, I've actually written something up to senior management saying, like, that was an incredible lesson you gave to year 7. I said, you didn't see the year 9 lesson. But anyway, after this fierce teacher came in, which is what was needed, and I'm not very fierce, and sort of gotten to the point where I could actually speak and they'd listen type thing. It's always a temporary state, that, and so on like that. I think it was the second year 9 lesson, and I said, I just don't get this. By then we'd gotten some stuff done, but we'd gotten to the point where we were more in communication. I said, I'm just really trying to understand something here. Like, is this how it usually is in this class? And I had the suspicion, and they sort of confirmed this. My voice has been under a lot of strain today. It got, and I had a suspicion there was something not right about this. Like, what the hell's going on? And I said, have you had a supply teacher for quite a while now? And they were like, yeah, we have. I don't know if it's connected or not, but on the website on this school it said, year 11 have all been self-isolating stuff, so that clearly there'd been some sort of COVID outbreak. And I was like, oh, great. I don't know, man. You don't even want to get, no matter how hard you can try to keep the hygiene on these things in that type of atmosphere. But anyway, I said, so what's been like? It's been terrible, got nothing done type thing. I said, so just to check with you, because I was thinking, is it just me? Have these other supply teachers come in and they've sort of rah, and then they kind of got on with the lesson, and I'm just crap at what I do or something like this. And no, I'm not, because I have had a lot of success for 8 years or so in a particular school, and I do feel like I know how to handle kids. And they said, in after a while, it's like we had a supply teacher all the time, and basically in that time we got nothing done. I said, nothing done. I said, was it like this? Were you literally like, what was she doing? Or was she or he or whatever? What was the teacher doing? Oh, they just went over to the desk at the side, sat down and started eating their lunch. And I was like, okay. So basically what it seemed, at least, unless they were lying, but to be honest, they were in such a wild state that it was almost like that was how they expected to behave in a lesson where the teacher wasn't there or something, because there was just felt like there was that expectation. It was so powerful. It wasn't, and it felt to me, and I'm pretty sure this is right, and it was confirmed what they said, that atmosphere had been created. So I was basically stepping right into the middle of a mess. What did I do to handle it? I couldn't get anywhere with using my voice or seeing individual students or making, disciplinary steps and all this type of thing. Nowhere. And in the end, I just said, I need to get someone that actually works here to settle these guys down, otherwise this lesson's a waste of time. I guess the supply teachers must have thought, I was going, no, I should give up and just sat down and eat a lunch or something. And so I was like, that's not how I operate. I'm being paid here. I'm not going to sit down and eat my lunch when I'm supposed to be teaching young people. So, anyway, that's clearly what was going on. And what I'm planning on doing today is writing to someone in charge there and saying, look, this is what I ran into. And it seems to me there's a bit of a problem with the supply teaching, and here's some of the difficulties I ran into that made it a lot harder to just be prepared for this, and here's my recommendations. But one of the big things I would say is I suggest that you take a bit of a closer eye, keep a closer eye on what these supply teachers are actually doing, because yes, kids make up stuff, but to be honest, it was so bad that it clearly, from what I could see, there was something very wrong there. And the funny thing is that it took a hell of a lot of hard work, but in the case of every one of those classes, whilst we hadn't gotten anywhere near as much work done as I would like to have done, certainly in the case of the year 9s, we actually got to the point where the kids were actually starting to do some work, which they sort of said we actually haven't done any work. And they would show me books like, this is where our old teacher left, this is what I've done since, and it's been a week since she's been gone, and they got nothing done type thing. I was like, but we actually were getting stuff done, you know. It was just small steps and a lot of encouragement and showing this and this type of thing and working my arse off trying to change something in his class. And we were, in each case, getting somewhere. And I would say to any teacher that's in that type of situation, I'm sure, if that happened on my first day, then I'm guessing that that's probably going to be that type of atmosphere is not going to be unusual or something. But I would say that actually we were getting somewhere, and we were turning things around. So don't be discouraged. Although you got to have, I don't know, you got to have some persistence for this side of the teaching side of things. I have to say, I've been stuck in lockdown for so long. I was just like, I need some work. I need to get back into a school and do some academic kind of stuff and so forth. So I was ready for it. I was ready for anything. That's pretty much what I got. I mean, there was all sorts. Literally, like kids jumping onto each other and starting to fight. And this is like supposed to be in like social distancing type thing, and throwing things, and you know, whatever you can imagine. It felt like it was pretty much happening, and that went from. And by getting a real, in a nice way, a real dragon of a lady to sort of like rah at them, they settle down type thing. We really started to get somewhere. So. And so it was a sweet and sour experience because the kids, especially those year 7s, and I did really start to see the sparks of it in some of these year 9s. I'll give you an example. What I was going to say is that the kids really do. You know, the kid is there. You got the group situation, but if you can break through that, there are so many kids in there that have got so many talents and they want to learn, and they are where they are. And if you can if you are skilled enough and persistent enough and upbeat enough to keep backing away and not just collapse on the floor or something like that, you start to see little bits break through, and you just keep working away at this. And that was really what's a big thing that stuck in my memory. Some of these year 7 kids were. I mean, they you know, one came up to me and said, I'm going to go home and I'm going to write 2 more chapters or something like this, and on that type thing, and oh, what's, you know, are you going to be back tomorrow type thing, and oh, what, you know, what football team do you support? You know, it's just basically in other words, things were coming where I could see I was making a difference just in that short amount of time in these kids' lives, and that is what makes it worth it. But although I'm an experienced teacher, I've got a lot to learn in terms of, I think, in terms of that type of situation. I don't know if I can do this for any sort of length of time. It's so different to being in a school you're familiar with, because there's so many things you're not familiar with, and that's all mixed up with having to run this type of situation. It's, oh my God, I would have to say that anyone's a really good supply teacher and that's really good at able to get the kids to be productive first time, no matter how chaotic things have been before then, must be the best teachers in the world, because it's different when you're at a regular school. You're used to your routines, you're used to your kids, you know their names, you know how things work. You don't have to worry about that side of things. It's much easier, but it does require, I have to say, less skill than the supply work. That's my first impression. I'm inexperienced as a supply teacher. I've got no idea if other schools are going to be like the one I just experienced, but I would say, because I kept at it and was determined to give it my best, it went well, and I would do it again. I don't know, maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment or pain or something, but it's worth it because, alright, I might end up a wreck on the floor, but what picks me up again, well, not literally, but you know, what picks me up is knowing that if I don't do it, they might not get someone who will. Because I could see that I was getting somewhere with them and given more lessons, that I'm sure it would have been a very different scene. Whereas clearly, you know, okay, I haven't gathered lots of evidence on this, but clearly there's something going on in terms of the way in which our supply system works in a school and the way it's monitored. Certainly in the case of the school that happened today. And I'm not trying to be critical because I was impressed with the school generally, but quite experienced. Anyway, I'll stop jabbering on because there's so many other things I could say, but that's my first video on it. Yeah, I'll, if you want to, I'll make a few more videos just looking at things from a different perspective and also where things go from here. And probably what's most useful, hopefully at some point I'll be able to put in a video where I face that type of situation again, having learned how to deal with it, and it worked. Yeah, either that, or I won't make any more videos because I died of a heart attack. That's a joke. All right, okay. Thanks for listening, and look out for any more videos.